We passed it 3 times in the House, the SAVE Act twice, last Congress, this Congress, and now the Save America Act. All we're talking about is proof of citizenship to register to vote and a photo ID when you do that. It's a 90-10 issue in the country. 70% of Democrats think that that is a reasonable restriction on voting, and yet he cannot get Democrats in the Senate to go along with it.
But why is that? Why? Why do you think it's happening?
Well, you know my theory. It's because they count on cheating. They count on illegals voting. They count on people coming in who are not supposed to vote in our elections. It's quite clear. Why else would Chuck Schumer and the Democrats oppose a measure that is so wildly popular with the people and such a measure of common sense?
And my warning to my fellow Republicans, Will, would be if we don't get this right, don't blame young people for being sympathetic to socialism. We've got to blame ourselves. And I think what is so unique and refreshing about Donald Trump's economic policies is that it's not the same old economic, ideas that you would have heard 30, 40 years ago. He's talking about rebuilding our industrial base, rebuilding the heartland, making our streets safer, making it possible for young people to afford to buy a home. This is how you stop socialism. You don't stop socialism by throwing slogans at people about the free market. As much as I love the free market, you stop socialism by making people's lives.
Hello, friends, and welcome. Gather round and listen closely today, because what we are feeling right now is something truly special. It is a story of hope, of staying strong, and of a beautiful promise being kept. Sometimes watching the news can make you feel a little worried about the future. But today, we're seeing pure America First energy lighting up Washington, D.C.
Besides OBBB, what does the Senate really have to talk about what it's done in the last year and a half? We haven't gotten recess appointments. We haven't gotten forth any of President Trump's landmark policies that he campaigned on in the 2024 election. We demand results, and the Senate does not deserve a 5-week, 37-day paid vacation. And quite frankly, Steve, let's be honest. If these senators go back to their home respective states, they're going to do more damage not having passed the Save America Act than if they stay in D.C., show the American people that they actually care about us, work through weekends, and do everything in their power to give us photo, voter ID, and proof of citizenship.
Well, we ought to be voting on it every week, and even if we can't get the whole thing passed, vote on parts of it. And I believe we ought to force people to talk. That's how the filibuster is supposed to work. And then when people are done talking, you vote. It only takes 50 votes. But that's not where we are. What we can do this week is we're going to have hopefully a reconciliation vote this week, which will get as much in the Save America Act in the reconciliation vote, which only takes Republican votes, and get that started this week. It won't be finished this week. Ron Johnson, the chair of the Budget Committee, and hopefully that's what we'll be doing all day Wednesday and all night Wednesday night to get everything we can in the Save America Act passed inside reconciliation, and then work with the White House to see what else they can do from an administrative standpoint. I think we ought to stay up here to get things done. I'm a business guy. I work 7 days a week. We're working 2.5 days a week. We're barely up here. We need to stick around and get stuff done.
Senator Ritt Scott.
I would say more than half of your states have serious election problems. That's why we want to have voter ID. That's why we want to have, let's say, I think citizenship is very important. You have to prove your citizenship. In order to vote, you have to you have to show citizenship. I also think mail-in ballots, the concept of mail-in ballots, it's immediately corrupt. Jimmy Carter, the best thing he ever did, I didn't think he was a very good president, but he had a commission, and his commission came out to the conclusion you cannot have mail-in ballots. People will cheat, and we have to get rid of mail-in ballots.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I'm here in the Capitol Rotunda, and I'm a little ticked off. I'm ticked off at the Senate leadership, how them and the Democrats have decided to thwart the agenda of our president, going home for 2 weeks, not addressing the Save America Act, which is of the utmost importance. We need to get that in. The House has a bill to fund DHS. Of course, we'll secure the border and pay our TSA agents and fund the men and women who work to protect American citizens. And the the Democrats and the Senate leadership have, it's clear that they just want to derail the Trump agenda, and that's all they're up to. And until we get back here and get back to work, that's not going to change. And it's pretty pathetic to go home at 2 o'clock in the morning, or vote at 2 o'clock in the morning, and kind of leave, well, not kind of, but really do leave the taxpayers high and dry of this great country. And I don't blame the rank and file members. They have no say-so in it. This is clearly a deal that's cut. Our Speaker of the House didn't even know. They didn't have the courtesy of making a phone call over there. So it's clear that they don't want us in the majority. They want the status quo to continue. They apparently want to open the borders and continue not funding our TSA, because that's the way their votes have shown. So we'll keep fighting. We're still here. Thank y'all for sending me here.
And now we have to pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American elections. Have to pass it. Hard to believe, right? Hard to believe that we even have to fight for this. We have to fight for everything. Nothing comes easy. Nothing. All voters must show photo ID. Not so bad, right? All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Is that so hard? And you're fighting the Democrats and a few Republicans who are doing a tremendous disservice to this country. We have a few Republicans that are fighting it. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. You should call her and tell her to get on the ball. She'll never win another election, I can tell you. She's got to vote. It's called the Save America Act. It's voter ID, ideally photo ID, right? So you can look and you can say, oh, that person's okay. Or, for lots of reasons, that person is not the same person. We want proof of citizenship. And we want no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, and military deployment or travel. We'll be very judicious. Look what's happening in California, where the ballots still aren't in. They're still not. Can you believe it? Weeks afterwards. You know what's happening? They're cheating.
D.C., like fireworks on the 4th of July. This is an emotional, real-time story about how good leaders are fighting for you, your family, and the country we all love so deeply. Let's dive right into this amazing moment. Right now, in the bright summer hours of mid-August 2026, history is being made. You can almost feel the electricity in the air. For months, it felt like common sense ideas were stuck behind a giant, unmoving wall. But over the last few hours, everything changed. The wonderful news that just broke centers around a very smart, completely legal strategy. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and brave patriots like Representative Randy Fine stepped forward with joy in their hearts. They confirmed that they have found the ultimate path to protect the American vote. They use a special tool called reconciliation. Now, that might sound like a big fancy word, but it simply means a special budget rule that lets our leaders pass laws with just a simple majority of 50 votes. They do not need the usual 60 votes that always seem to cause endless delays and heartbreak. Inside this very special package is the Save America Act. This is the exact plan that President Donald Trump, our great 45th and 47th president, has championed with every ounce of his strength. President Trump did not return to the White House to play the same old, tiring political games. He came back with a heart full of love for the forgotten men and women of this country. He came back with a clear, beautiful mission to make America great again, and to lock that greatness in so tightly that no one can ever take it away. The Save America Act is pure, simple common sense. It just says that if you want to vote in our sacred elections, you must show you are a citizen with real documents, and you prove who you are with a photo ID. That is not asking too much. is the exact same thing your parents do when they go to the bank to open an account or when a family boards an airplane to go on vacation. President Trump knows that when our elections are completely safe and secure, the American people can fully trust their government again. And here's the most exciting part happening right this minute, because this rule only needs 50 votes. The old roadblocks are useless. Vice President J.D. Vance is standing by right now, just like our beautiful Constitution allows, ready to cast that deciding 51st vote if there is a tie. For a long time, a group in the Senate, led by the careful and cautious Senate Majority Leader John Thune, kept saying we had to wait. They talked about complicated rules and math. Let's take a moment to think about what this incredible breakthrough means for families just like yours. Right in this very hour. This news is not just about politicians in Washington. It is about everyday heroes. Imagine a hard-working mom in Pennsylvania. She works 2 jobs, day and night, just to put food on the table for her children. Yet, she still finds the time to care deeply about her country. Sometimes, she worries if her vote really counts the same as someone who might not even belong here. Or think about a brave veteran in Texas. He traveled across the world, putting his life on the line to defend our beautiful freedom. But when he came back home, he heard worrying stories about loose voting rules and unfair systems. It broke his heart to think that the country he fought for might not be playing fair. Today, in these very moments, as this brilliant 5-0 vote plan pushes forward, their voices are finally being protected. For far too long, a dusty old rule known as the filibuster allowed a small group of people to block what the majority of Americans actually wanted. It was like a giant stop sign on the road to a better country. But Speaker Mike Johnson, Representative Randy Fine, and the brave fighters in the Freedom Caucus simply refused to take no for an answer. Over these last few intense hours, they have held the line. They made sure that the wonderful protective rules of the Save America Act stayed safely tucked inside this special reconciliation bill. It is a brilliant, entirely legal strategy that steps right around that old stop sign because they stayed so strong. A beautiful wave of trust is returning to our nation as we speak. Trust is a very powerful thing. Think about playing a game with your friends. It is only fun when everyone follows the rules. When everyday folks believe in our election system again, they show up, they feel proud. They believe in the great country their grandparents built with their bare hands. And that deep trust is the engine for everything else President Trump is working so hard to deliver for us. When our votes are safe, our borders become stronger. More American jobs stay right here at home. We get affordable energy, meaning gas prices drop low enough that a loving dad can drive his kids to baseball practice without worrying about emptying his wallet. Earlier this season, the House locked in a plan to send $10 billion to help our states secure their voting systems the right way. Now, as the clock ticks today, that dream is rushing toward reality. President Trump understands this deeply in his heart. He knows that securing a vote is the absolute key to unlocking the American dream for everyone. His unending love for this country is what keeps this powerful momentum going. You can almost hear the happy cheers echoing from Main Street today as Americans realize their beloved 45th and President Donald Trump's strength shines brightest in moments exactly like the one we are living through today. As the clock ticks in Washington right now, we are seeing the beautiful results of a leader who simply never quits. He is a president who stares down the toughest problems and keeps swinging for the forgotten men and women of this country. Do you remember how he rebuilt our economy before, bringing jobs and joy back to so many towns? This amazing 5-0 vote breakthrough happening today is another wonderful chapter in that very same story. President Trump did not invent the special reconciliation rule. It has been around for many decades. But under his watchful and caring eye today, it is being used as a mighty tool to bring real, honest change. And he is not doing it alone. He's built a wonderful team. Speaker Mike Johnson, a steady and true fighter from Louisiana, has been working hand in hand with the White House all day. And then there is Vice President J.D. Vance. Vice President Vance, a proud, hard-working man who grew up in Ohio, rose up to stand right beside President Trump as a perfect partner. J.D. Vance speaks plainly, just like a good neighbor. He understands that old, dusty Senate rules should never stand in the way of wonderful, common-sense ideas like showing a simple ID to vote. Together, this team is proving that when the American people elect good leaders, amazing results follow quickly. There are no more excuses today. There is no more waiting around for 60 votes that the other side will never give. Let's step back for just a second and remember why this matters so much. For a very long time, Americans watched as election rules were totally different depending on which state you lived in. Some places made it very easy to check if someone was a citizen, while other places left their doors wide open to confusion. After seeing this clearly in the past, President Trump firmly but lovingly said, "Enough is enough." Earlier this year, the Save America Act was pushed hard in the House and passed by a very tight, determined group of patriots. When it hit a giant wall in the Senate, did President Trump give up? No, he did not. He and his brilliant team found this beautiful new path. And now, as this August afternoon rolls on, the heavy pressure is on the Senate to finish the job. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who has navigated many tough days in the Capitol, is seeing the writing on the wall right this minute. The old, cautious group of lawmakers holding things up is collapsing. Why? Because the American people and President Trump are demanding action. Supporters all across our beautiful country are speaking up today. Just recently, a hardworking small business owner from Florida shared a beautiful thought. He said, "Trump is fighting for us like no one else. When they secure the vote, my kids will grow up in a..." As we watch this incredible day unfold in mid-August 2026, we have to talk about the real urgency of this very hour. Midterm elections are just around the corner, and the American people are watching closely. They elected President Trump to fix what was broken, and he is doing exactly that. You see, keeping our elections totally secure is the very heart of everything else. Without safe and honest voting, we cannot have strong borders, growing businesses, or true national safety. These massive wins happening in Washington today are not just lines on a piece of paper. They touch beautiful, real lives all across our great land. Right now, think about a young, happy couple in Arizona who just unlocked the front door of their very first home today. As they stand in their empty living room, they are dreaming of filling it with children. They want to raise their family in a nation where elections are totally beyond question. They want to live in a place where leaders answer to the citizens, not to chaos. Or consider a dedicated factory worker in Michigan. Right at this very moment, he is clocking in for extra overtime hours. He voted for President Trump because he knew Trump would protect American jobs and American freedom. When this worker hears the news on his radio today that Vice President J.D. Vance is standing by to break the tie and safeguard his ballot, a huge weight lifts off his shoulders. The emotional relief is simply huge. Parents are feeling a warm blanket of safety today, knowing that their children will inherit a fair system that actually works. Grandparents who have lived through very hard times are shedding happy tears this afternoon because they see true hope restored. President Trump's beautiful vision has always been about exactly this, making the American dream a real, everyday joy, not just a catchy slogan. This afternoon, as Speaker Mike Johnson and Representative Randy Fine's brilliant 5-0 vote plan becomes a reality, it sends a bright, clear signal across the country. The days of endless waiting are finally over. Senate Leader John Thune and his cautious team are adjusting to this amazing new reality. The old, slow ways of doing things are stepping aside to make way for the America First Express. Right now, everyday folks are flooding town halls and the internet with so much joy and encouragement. Stand with Trump. They are typing. Secure the elections. Keep the promise. Down in Georgia, a loving mother of 3 is watching this news closely. She recently told her kids, "This is how we protect our beautiful future, by electing leaders who fight for us." Just like President Trump. That is the magic of what is happening today. Bold leadership means cutting through the noise and using every legal tool to help the people. That is exactly what is breaking the old roadblocks today. And it is a beautiful thing to witness. This beautiful afternoon, we are witnessing a massive win for our country. What is happening right now in Washington proves that when we stick together under President Trump's glorious banner, the whole system bends back toward you, the American people. Some people might try to tell you that using this special reconciliation rule is a sneaky trick. Do not believe them. It is a proven legal process that lets the majority govern. The other side used it when they held power. Now, Republicans under President Trump are finally using it to protect your sacred vote. For this critical budget package that advances the Save America goals, the path is crystal clear today. 50 votes plus Vice President J.D. Vance. Because of this brilliant move, immediate and wonderful changes are rippling out. States are getting the resources they need to clean up their voting lists. Honest citizens are gaining total confidence, and cheating is becoming much, much harder. Everyday Americans can feel it in their bones right this minute. Finally, we have leaders who truly put us first. President Trump's amazing boldness inspires all of us because it is rooted in his deep, unbreakable love for this nation. He is the kind of leader who walks into a room and immediately lifts everybody's spirits. He sees the big picture so clearly. When our elections are completely safe, our republic is stronger. That means better jobs, safer streets, and a beautiful future where America proudly leads the world again. All across the heartland today, people are saying, "I voted for Trump because he never quits." This breakthrough shows exactly why. Emotional and touching stories are filling the airwaves this hour. There is a proud immigrant who worked incredibly hard to become a citizen the right, legal way. She just wants the system protected so others follow the law too. There is a brave young veteran who says, "I fought for this flag overseas." And now President Trump is fighting to make sure every single vote under it is some real. These powerful voices build a deep, loving connection between all of us. They remind us why we stay so passionate. This is not just regular politics anymore. This is a beautiful movement. America First values like fairness, strength, and keeping our country safe are winning today because President Trump simply never stops pushing for you. As this historic day continues to unfold, keep watching and stay filled with hope. The House has done its great part. The special path is set. Vice President Vance stands totally prepared. The old, frustrating barriers have completely fallen. What started as worry earlier this year has turned into unstoppable, joyful momentum. The old Washington delays have officially lost. President Donald Trump is delivering for us once again, and the American people are rising right alongside him. This is the kind of historic win that rebuilds our trust and sets the stage for even greater victories. Stand tall, folks. The best is still coming. Under this president's wonderful Dow leadership. God bless America, and God bless President Trump for never backing down. My dear friends, if this story of hope, resilience, and true American spirit touched your heart today, please take just a moment to join our family. Hit that subscribe button so we can keep sharing these beautiful real-time victories with you. Please give this story a like to show your support for secure elections and for President Trump's unstoppable fight for our country. And I would absolutely love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me where you are watching from today and what gives you the most hope for America's future. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.